You're listening to the Absolutely Cosmic Podcast.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Today, you're listening to the Absolutely Cosmic Podcast with your host, Joshua Salgado. So, today we have a cool topic to discuss. It's something that I've thought about recently, a significant amount actually. And why this is so important is because, as you know, I'm going to school for communications and studying kind of, I guess, the phenomena of the internet. Um, it's a big player. It's almost like the modern day version of the press, modern day version of who we view with ideals. And it's the influencers of today. What is an influencer? Well, an influencer, I wish I could tell you, because I wish I could say it was a certain amount of followers or subscribers or likes or something crazy like that. But I think an influencer is just somebody who has a following on the internet in whatever platform. I don't think it matters what platform. But I think it's when they have it's someone who has a following or a group of people or a brand that has a following, and they create content, they create things. And I want to kind of discuss why you're not actually an influencer, or the majority of these people online are not influencers. Um, this, I guess, is a more serious one. I'm not trying to hate anyone. I think it's awesome that people are creating content and having fun with it and making money and utilizing the internet real estate, essentially. But when you look at it from a perspective of cultural influencing, right? You're influencing people who watch you, right? That's why you're called an influencer. To me, I don't see a lot of these people as influencers. They're just creating videos for fun, but there's no meaning behind it. There's no deeper meaning behind it. Um, a lot of these people talk about like pattern. We're going to talk about pattern recognition. A lot of these influencers really are just really good at pattern recognition and understand what it takes to make a video viral or a successful YouTube video or successful podcast. And they escape the point of having a real message, because it doesn't matter what avenue, what vessel that you choose to portray that message, as long as you portray a positive message that can inspire people to be better than what they were yesterday, to be better in society, to contribute back to society. And I think that's something that we're missing, is this pattern recognition is so high right now. It's just like, how do I even explain it? Because, you have like our parents, and then even further back, our grandparents, that are really the forefathers and the forefront of technological advancement. And then you have your parents, right? And every generation is better with technology. And I feel like the younger generation, I'm 24, I feel like the 20-year-olds, the 18 to 20-year-olds are the ones who are picking up like, oh no, this is how you make a good video. This is how you make a good whatever. It's a lot of those young cats, which is really cool. But I feel like a lot of these people are so fresh, they haven't experienced anything. They haven't actually developed yet into people, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I don't see a lot of message in a lot of what people do. A lot of people just go into, a Walmart and will like do something silly, or like they'll do a prank, but there's no like message, there's no meaning, there's no juice behind it. You know what I mean? There's nothing greater. They're not inspiring people to whatever. They're not trying to make people laugh. There's no hidden wisdom behind their comedy, and then there's like the debauchery, there's like the condoning of alcoholism, the condoning of essentially prostitution. This is, again, this is an, I guess, an explicit podcast, so I'm not, whatever, but like the proliferation of drugs and alcohol and gambling and just, no physical accountability. One influencer that comes to mind, or I guess he's a streamer, I don't know. Well, he's kind of become influencer, right? Is Aiden Ross. And then you have like the new guy, Neon. They don't stand for anything. They're just goobers. And to me, I just feel like that space could be put to somebody. You don't have to like be this philosophical, Greek or Roman philosopher, but to have a little bit of a message behind what you're talking about. Because at the end of the day, young people are going to be watching. I mean, even Logan Paul, he doesn't really have a message behind what he does anymore. I don't even think he's doing much anymore. That's the problem too. Is, these social media personalities, it's almost like reality TV show. It's just melting your brain. There's nothing valuable coming out to it. And then there's no emotion behind it. There's no style behind it. There's no conscious behind it, right? All these people, even let's look at fitness influencers. I think Sam Sulek is the greatest thing to social media in a long time. I think I discussed it with my previous podcast episode with Dylan a little bit. But Sam Sulek, if you want to talk about fitness, he is just entertaining. He's just his own self. He's his own personality. He's real. His YouTube videos, and granted, I watch most of his stuff from like clips and stuff I see, right? But like his YouTube videos are like literally simple. They're just him working out or eating or vlogging throughout the day, and not like in this showy way, but it's just like, here's what I'm doing, day, whatever, right? To me, I see that as different, right? That is going against the grain, because now we're in such a saturated market when it comes to clickbaiting and thumbnails and all this extra stuff to try to get your attention, right? Because at the end of the day, right, a content creator, an influencer is not selling necessarily a product. They're not selling a service. I mean, they are. A lot of them are. But what they're selling is your time, which is the most valuable thing in life, right? You never get that back. You can never replay that. There's no way to get more time. I can get money. I can get resources. I can even get my health back. Or, I mean, health is one of those things too. You can't really get back very easily at all sometimes, most of the time, if you damage it too much. But again, going back to it, we're giving away our time to these influencers who have no greater message, who don't want to do anything greater. All they know is pattern recognition and consistency, which I applaud them for. I think this is phenomenal. And I think a lot of these influencers need to have a deeper meaning behind what they're talking about. I think they need to have a deeper whatever, like Aiden Ross, talking about doing lean. You have so many young people listening to you. Even Sneeko, right? All these, like, I don't even know if they're influencers, but the big guys in this, I guess, red pill, or like that weird community, right? You guys have so many young individuals and preteen and teen individuals, especially dudes, looking to you. Represent something. Maybe do something beyond what is going to get views. Maybe do something that's different. Do something that's unique to you. Because they're all doing the same thing. They're all just being a bunch of reality TV show people. And to me, that's frustrating, because I have friends who are creating content, or who are getting into creating content, and are phenomenal at what they do. They're entertaining. They're good people. And then they're just being themselves on the camera, or trying to be, and portray what they're interested in, right? Like, little did you know, my friend Dylan, right, that was on the previous episode, he actually does coral breeding. And I'm not going to disclose his company, but they're working on a media side of that. And to me, it's like, well, he's literally creating a business on breeding an animal that not many people know, like, the deep ins and out of, not many people understand that world. And, his production quality, they have, a full videographer, they have a whole setup, they have equipment and stuff, and they're doing that, and they're posting content, but they're not growing at the rate of like an Aiden Ross drinking lean on stream. Like, where has, and I guess maybe it's just what society and the populace wants to view right now. But at the end of the day, these people who have platforms, who are up here, have an ability to influence and inspire people to be better, to be greater than they were. And why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't you want your viewers to be excellent? Why wouldn't you want your viewers to have hope, right? Society, life today is so hopeless. It is so painful. It is so depressing almost sometimes. Why wouldn't you want to just give even a little bit of hope, a little bit of this tenacity to your viewers? Give them something to be like, oh, Aiden Ross is working out and he's doing a workout vlog every, whatever, right? He's doing more, though. It doesn't have to be their whole content, but just give a little something, right? Maybe I should start doing that. Sneako's, I don't even know, talking about, real stuff, not getting into gym drama, in LA kind of thing. Going back to the philosophical side that he was back before he kind of blew up, to me, that's what's more valuable. And we're seeing a lapse in that with these influencers, and we need fresh personalities and content. So this is a call out to you and all the folks out there, who want to create, who have this cool idea to do stuff, or maybe it's been done before, but it's your personality. You bring you to the table. This is one of my lessons that I talked about in 2 podcasts ago about spreading some of the lessons that I learned as a 24-year-old dude who's gotten to deploy as a loadmaster. And not even that, that's just part of who I am. But, my fitness journey, my personal journey, everything about me, right? Everything that I've experienced, I realized that there's nothing greater than what you can do because it's you. There's no one else like you in this world. There's no one else like you. It's unique. You, from not only your genetic code, not only the biological code, how you were raised, your ethnicity, your religion, your name, everything about you, what you like, what you don't like. Like, if I like comic books and I'm a nerd, right? I love, everything like that. So, and I love working out, right? So to me, and I'm goofy and I'm twitchy and I'm hyper, to me, I would bring something that cannot be replicated. So I have no worry without sharing my workflow, which hopefully at some point that's an idea that I'm dabbling with. I just got to figure out how I'm essentially going to present that to you guys. But like my workflow on social media, how to start a podcast, maybe we could do some videos and stuff, or how to make the t-shirts on design. Because again, my mind and how I utilize new tools like with AI and everything else, and how I know graphic design and photography, how I utilize what I know and who I am and my ideas, my creative ideas, and me, you take those 3 pillars, right? Mix them together, cannot be replicated. Even if you were selling t-shirts, exactly right next to me, I would be okay with you having a stand right next to me of t-shirts, because guess what? At the end of the day, regardless of it, like, I'm just going to do it. And how I do it is going to be so unique and so different and so damn good that I hope you get to eat. I hope you eat well, right? But there's nothing that can replicate me exactly. And this is not to be cocky, but we need fresh personalities and content. I've asked a few friends who I find interesting. My girlfriend, right? Hopefully I find my girlfriend interesting. But my girlfriend, right? I asked her, I'm like, hey, listen, she's a marine bio major. And I was like, listen, you kind of have a perspective about school, and you're kind of wise in a lot of things, and you're very smart with a lot of things. And, you know, I'd like to have you on a podcast and talk about just marine bio stuff. We could literally talk about one animal. Like we had a conversation about water bears, which are a microscopic, if I'm not mistaken, unicellular animal, but they look like these little like bears almost, but they're so tiny and they're microscopic and they're cool. And they have all these different abilities, and they like don't age. They can't really die very easily. Like they've been around since the Ice Age, if I'm not mistaken. Again, I'm not a marine bio major. My girlfriend is. But I'm like, listen, you get passionate about this stuff. Why not talk about that? And she's like, I'm not that interesting. I can't talk well. I'm like, well, first of all, talking well, you can definitely build on that. Because I was a shy kid who, first grade, I could barely read. Second grade, I could barely read. Third grade, I could barely read. And then eventually I learned how to read. I was illiterate, essentially. Um, Not actually, but I had, everyone has their struggles, right? And I had some academic struggles early on. But, I learned through high school. I was in the vocational agriculture program, FFA, Future Farmers of America. I don't know if it's called that anymore. It's an agri-science program now. Things change, terminology changes, right? But I did public speaking, I did poetry evaluation, and those built the foundation for me to get comfortable with just talking in front of people and creating content. And why am I talking to the microphone? Hello there, buddy. Oh, hello there. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Anyway, but yes, so speaking and creating content and videos and the sound, that can all get better. You can get better at that. It does not have to be this solid idea that I have to be so good at something from the beginning. Just start creating, start figuring it out. Say, okay, what are the pieces that I need, right? And this is kind of going beyond what it is, right? But I want to see fresh, good people on the internet. I want to see people that aren't just a bunch of debauchery people. I want to see people getting views. I want to see people with an audience that are actually valuable, that actually care. Like I'm all for being silly. Like I'm all for being crazy. Like I'm a goober. Like I will do a fitness challenge that is insane just for the sake of getting me to puke or something crazy like that. Like I'm all for analytics and views and thumbnails and titles and things like that, right? But I think at the end of the day, if you don't have a message, it's invaluable. And again, going back to it, we need fresh people. And so many people think I'm not good enough at this, whether it's the technical side, whether it's the soft skills, hard skills, right? Which we can get into discussing how to grow both of those. Soft skills, hard skills of technology or speaking or organizing your thoughts, and then even broader, I'm not interesting enough. Yeah, you are. Like, no one has your perspective because you're you. Again, we're talking about how, like, I sell t-shirts and I would sell a stand next to somebody and I would teach them everything I know because I know I do it my way. Like, I'm going to do it a specific way. There's no way to change how Joshua Salgado does what he does. You know what I mean? It's unique to me because of my experiences come into everything that I do, no matter what, right? If I was a world-class pole vaulter, I'm not, but if I was, right, that would play into me making eggs in the morning somehow, right? Maybe it's the discipline, maybe it's the style, maybe it's, the athleticism. I'm going to be able to flip it over. So I don't know, but everything that you do plays into you. And the thing is, you're interesting. Every human being is interesting no matter who they are. You could be the most mundane person. You could be the person that just literally works, sleeps, repeats, works, sleeps, repeats. There's something interesting about you, or the way you talk, or who you are, or where you come from, where your family comes from. Maybe some of your struggles, maybe what you didn't struggle with, maybe the advantages that you had. Everything is so interesting. What you've built, what you've created, right? People are interesting even to the microscopic level of who they are, the entity of their consciousness. I didn't want to get that deep, but like the entity of who they are, their ability to feel, and how some people can feel certain emotions or some people are more empathetic. Like, deep down, their ability to, some people are naturally more of a stoic, where emotions don't affect them in an event or in to react, right, or to act, whereas some people are very reactionary. And that's almost biological. That's almost, and then there's like that soul, right? Your soul, who you are, everything encompassing, plus the ability to think freely, the ability to feel, is so interesting to me. And I think at the end of the day, the one thing that we share is that, right? As humans, we share that, right? Everybody's different in different, I guess arms. Think of it as like a ball of just the ability to feel, right? And you have little arms coming out. Well, I'm Josh. This is me at the core, right? And Josh is a name given to me by other humans, right? But you have all these little things. So when we come to creating content, you are interesting. And why not make it interesting? Why not make it you? Why not brand something? We all have an idea, right? We all have an idea. Why not create something? I don't care if you feel that you're not interesting enough. You are. And I guess in the last kind of segue is, we need more people to have attributed to, I kind of touched on it earlier. We need more people to attribute to society, which is insane, right? You think, oh, well, if I'm going to be an influencer, maybe I have built some businesses, or I've done some creative venture, or I've explored something or done something. But it's like, again, you get these Aiden Rosses who are just there. Excuse me. You get these Aiden Rosses who literally do just play video games, and that's how they got famous. And then now they're doing stupid stuff, stupid shit. And now they're famous even more. And it's like, you're not helping people. You're not helping people. What have you attributed to society before and during this era of influencer? The reason why I have this bullet talking point on my phone is because, there's a lot of philosophers who were wrestlers, who were, I guess bodybuilders, fitness people. There's gladiators who had wisdom. You look at every great warrior in general, they have wise words. And when their words mean more when they have done things of magnitude, right? Your words will mean more when you've done things of magnitude. Now, I don't mean you need to go and be David Goggins and be a Navy SEAL, right? I don't think that you need to be, the next Alex Hormozy, right? I listen to his podcast a lot. I think it's called The Game. You don't need to be all those people. You don't need to be, but be yourself and contribute to your family, contribute to those around you. If you're a teacher, right, that is an important role in society. You have attributed and you're continuing to attribute. If you're a firefighter, you're a cop, you're a medical professional, an EMT, a doctor, right? If you choose to attribute back to society, right, contribute, which you are, right, and you're doing the best that you can, and you're being a truthfully good person, right? And it's not even about what you do as a job, but Have you been able to influence somebody, a younger person, maybe an older person, and help them through something? Talk with them, a friend, a family member, a coworker. Have you been there for somebody? Have you just held the door for somebody and been like, hey, smile at them, have a great day? At the gym, one thing for me personally, I always try to, if I notice someone's going hard, or like, you know, they've been in there a lot, or like someone's like gained a lot of muscle, or whatever it is, right? I always go up to them and be like, hey, listen, good job. You're a beast. I noticed that you're lifting freaking heavy. I wish I could do that. Or like, be like, hey, listen, I noticed your progress. Like, you've literally gained muscle. Like, I try to compliment people. Um, so like yesterday, there was this girl. I was walking by. I was about to leave. I was gonna hit the sauna, and there was this girl. She had like 5 plates and on a leg press, and usually they have like the 4 spokes that you put each plate. She had 5 on both sides of the initial one, and then like 3 more on the top ones, right? I mean, the math. Let's math it out. Try to math it out. Right, that'd be 16. 720 pounds. And I'm pretty sure she was doing it for reps because she looked beat. And I literally said, you're an animal. I respect that. And I gave her a fist bump and walked away. And she smiled and she's, oh, thank you so much. I try to be. And like, I was like, yeah, and just like walked away with that. And like the ability to just compliment somebody, that is attributed to society. Just being a good person, going above and beyond. If you notice somebody that's interested in what you're doing, maybe show them, say, hey, listen, come here, I'm going to show you some tricks of the trade. A new person at your job, maybe teaching them how you do it and being like, hey, this is how I do it. This is something that I do. So being able, and I think it just encompasses being a good person who contributes to society rather than being a person who's focused on debauchery, right? I'm not going to go on the internet and start like twerking my butt everywhere, right? That's stupid. What have you done to contribute to society? If you were gone, would there be something missing? And I'm not, that could be misconstrued. But I don't mean as in they shouldn't exist or they should, disappear, whatever. What I mean is, what value do you bring in an overarching way? What is your morals? What do you stand for? Who are you? Not what are you, not what's your name, but who are you? And I think the people that are overall good and who have done excellent things are the ones that should be influencers, the ones that should be streamers, because everyone can play video games. Everyone can get good at a video game. Like, everyone can be entertaining. Like, give me a few cans of caffeine and I'm going to be freaking... Sorry, I did not mean to scream to the camera to all my headphone users. But like, I can... And that sounded like a turkey. Speaking of turkey, I should be coming down after the holiday season. I mentioned it in my first podcast, but I love Thanksgiving so much I made a t-shirt for the brand Cosmic Absolute. Shameless plug right here. CosmicAbsolute.com. You can get the merch, the official merch for the podcast and for the media that we're producing. So if you're interested, please do check it out. But, again, I can be crazy, and I can go on the internet and say some crazy things or be a goofy goober, right? I could be wild. I could be stupid. Yeah, honestly, I can. And I probably will at some point not say anything super controversial. I don't want to do that. But, I could say some silly things or make some noises, As Theo Von says, everyone's got a little tism, right? That's the key, and like, okay, let's take a look. Okay, you have Joe Rogan, the top podcast in the world. What does he do? Well, he has all these guests, right? He literally just asks questions and he interviews these people and just discusses about crazy stuff, aliens and Bigfoots and, controversy and AI and things like that. But at the end of the day, he was a UFC commentator. That's pretty damn cool. If you ask me, someone who enjoys martial arts, he was a martial artist in Taekwondo. I myself started in Taekwondo, so that's really cool. But again, he's done all these phenomenal things, right? And he's acted, he's a stand-up comedian. He's done all these cool things that not many people do. And it's not about what not many people do, but he's contributed to society overall. And comics, I feel like, are probably some of the wisest people, and they push the line. So they attribute a lot of wisdom, or, they ask weird questions, that society is kind of bringing up that's relevant, right? And that's attributing to society. That's important. That's a consciousness that we need. But like you compare Aiden Ross to Joe Rogan. Who would you pick to be president? Let's put it at that perspective. Like, who would you pick to be president? And that says a lot, right? I'd rather pick Joe Rogan. Not that I agree with his political ideals, right? I guess. I haven't actually listened to any of his political ideas. I really like him for just the alien stuff and like the archaeology and biologist type stuff and all that stuff, right? And just, the intellectual side of it, right? But you have people like that, right, who have done things, who are interesting, who've had phenomenal people on their show, right, to talk about these weird or hard questions. And then you have people like Aiden Ross drinking lean on a stream, drinking drugs, liquid heroin essentially on a stream. And you would think that like Joe Rogan's like this popular person that's like viral, right? I mean, some of his clips are, and some of the clips that people make are, but Aiden Ross is somebody that just like you keep seeing these stupid videos or like Sneako, keep seeing these crazy controversies and stuff. So at the end of the day, overall, I think we discussed a few things. I think the reason why these crazy people, like Aiden Ross and all these people, are so famous, and I'm not hating on Aiden Ross. I think he has a lot of potential, and obviously he has an audience to talk about some of this stuff, and he's just an example, right? But I think these influencers who are just creating videos just for the sake of virality and for fun, instead of portraying a message, or people who fake certain videos, like military coming home, or like the airplane. I've been seeing a lot of fake airplane videos, and it's very obvious. But you go to the comments and people are like, that's not right, this and that. And it's like sparking. It's sparking and it's brilliant. These people have excellent pattern recognition and have a little idea, a little skit, whatever, and they put it out. So in a way, it's fresh. But they're just high level pattern recognition. They realize that if I do a thumbnail, I do certain hashtags, I do certain titles, and I create decent content, and I hit the markers for some sort of like compulsive type behavior or crazy type behavior, something out of the world, you probably get some sort of likes and engagement. And I'm not saying to do that, but I'm saying have a message if you're going to do something like that, right? And do it right. Don't. And then fresh personalities. I think we need more people on the internet, and you're going to say more, but I think we need more people with their ideas. I think the perspectives of the world. And again, this is what this podcast is for. I hope to have as many guests as possible come on and discuss and talk about their experience. But we need fresh personalities, and you, the listener, are interesting enough to start a podcast. There are so many free tools out there to create the graphic design art. There's so many free tools to video edit. There's so many free tools to audio edit. There's so many free tools to figure out, okay, how can I do this and this? And at some point, I would like to share the workflow. If it works, right? If it's successful in creating an audience, right, I'll share that workflow and create a little lesson plan for you guys to kind of get you started, a tutorial on what you can use and some tools. I guess, and we need fresh personalities. We need people. There's so many people that are interesting, and it's not just because what they've done, but who they are, right? At the core of their experiences and how those experiences play into the dictation of how they talk or how they present themselves, right? To me, that's interesting, right? Every human being, regardless if you even fall into a base stereotype, and I'm not talking about race, but a base stereotype of, baseball players act this way, or, streamers act this way, right? You're still interesting because you're bringing your perspective. You're bringing you to the table. And again, if you put two streamers right next to each other, I'll probably watch both. I'll probably be equally interested in both. Or you put two, I don't even know, people next to each other. I'm going to be interested in both because the perspectives and how they go about things and their culture, their taste, their flavor, right? Right. You could make pancakes here and you can make pancakes here, right? You can make them at two different restaurants. They still might be equally as good, but one person might put cinnamon, in the pancake, right? Or one person might put chocolate chips, right? I think food is always the best analogy for things. But yes, fresh personalities. And then ultimately, I think you should attribute to society before and during, I want to see more of my military brothers and sisters on the internet talking about things, talking about their perspective. Not necessarily what they've gone through or what they've done in the military. I mean, I'm interested in to hear that for sure. But I think those are the people that have attributed a significant amount, to society. And I think if anyone's going to have a platform, anyone's going to be balanced, and anyone's going to have validity and understand what they're talking about, it's those individuals. It's your first responders. It's your doctors. It's your teachers. It's your construction workers, your blue collar folks, because those guys are badass as hell. I'll tell you, working, I've done a few blue collar jobs in my day, and there's rough days, right? You're tired. You're taking like caffeine and a protein bar at the gas station before you go to work. Sometimes, sometimes you're not really getting a real decent break. You don't get into the break room. You kind of do your thing, right? So those blue collar folks, you're interesting. Just because you don't think you're interesting, I think everyone's interesting, and everyone should build a platform, right? Build something. I'm a nerd. I literally created a vintage sci-fi art brand to be branded as self-improvement, but just craziness and bringing on guests and stuff. So again, I appreciate you guys listening. This video went on a little bit longer than I was hoping, and this is a little bit more philosophical and deeper than I was expecting. So I want to thank you guys again for listening. If you are interested, you can get your merch at cosmicabsolute.com. And if you're interested even more, please do give a like and follow. We're trying to really build up this brand. I want to be able to have not just virtual podcasts with guests. I want to create in-person podcasts. So that's the goal. Yeah, you can see the puppy in the background. But yes, that's the goal. So without further ado.
Thank you for listening. Consider absolutely smashing the subscribe button for more content like this.